deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
How about the Arkansas baseball team playing like the number one team in the country this weekend, thoroughly kicking Missouri up and down all over Baum Walker Stadium? Hey, welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. We're going to hear more from Dave Van Horn and his thoughts on his team's play over the weekend. Some pretty outstanding statistics that we'll discuss throughout the morning, the next 3 hours. Chuck's going to be on in about 30 minutes or so, get his thoughts on what's been going on in the NCAA tournament selection show, this baseball team, and some other big SEC topics to go along with that. Tommy is on vacation this week. He is with the kiddos and the wife doing a bunch of different stuff, so we hope he has a good week on the spring break. I know a lot of you, your kids, maybe your grandkids have spring break this week. It's spring break at the University of Arkansas. It's spring break for high schools and middle schools across the country. So a lot of you may be listening remotely this morning on hitthatline.com, our brand new Hit That Line Now app. And we really appreciate you still making us a part of your day regardless. Maybe we jump into some spring break topics a little later on here on Hot Take Monday. It's brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They have added Brinkley RV to their already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River. You need to come check out, see Chris, see Lee J, see Shane, see the rest of the game, and see the Brinkley Model Z. It is luxury fifth wheels and its finest. And it comes with a lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. Come see why they have been voted the best RV dealer year after year. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Big C, you ready for this week, man? No Tommy. Cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah,
you ready to roll?
Off on vacation. It's going to be just me and you. It'll be fun.
We've got our typical guest. He's on vacation. Richard Davenport's also on vacation, so he will not be with us on Wednesday. We are going to have Nick Coffey join us coming up at 7:20. He does the afternoon radio show in Louisville. I want to get his thoughts if there's any legs to the Eric Musselman story, if there's any truth to Muss potentially leaving Arkansas and going to Louisville. Nick will give us an update on that. If you miss it, you can find it in our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. I've got to be honest. I have not filled out my bracket just yet. And even furthermore, I have not watched the selection show, which has been a tradition of mine, I don't know, for 25 plus years, maybe more than that. I've got it recorded. I have not watched it yet. I have the bracket. If you're watching us on our video live stream on Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, you'll notice that I do have a bracket printed out so I can refer to it on several times this morning. We're not going to do a deep dive or anything like that. You guys don't care about that. But I will say, I'm going to watch it today, and I am a person like my fantasy football team. I get asked to be in leagues all the time. I'm a one bracket and one fantasy football league guy. Yeah. I stick to that one bracket. Now, I may enter it in several different spots. I'm going to do it on hitthatline.com. Again, our bracket challenge is up there. We'll tell you more about that coming up in just a bit. But I don't deviate from one bracket to another. I don't pick different champions. I don't pick different games. I picked everything the same. Now, again, I might use it for, let's say, our high school group that's been doing it for 10 years. I'm still in that one, but I'll use the exact same bracket there as I will on hitthatline.com. That is my hot take, because many of you fill out a bunch of them. You'll in various ways and on different champions and different Final Four teams, and that's perfectly fine. But my hot take, and again, I never win these things. I don't know if I've ever won a bracket challenge, whether at hitthatline.com. Zach Arns is going for the three-peat this year. We'll see if he's able to do that between our ESPN Arkansas coworkers or if someone else takes the crown. But that is one of my hot takes. I've got 4 or 5 of them this morning, is just do one bracket. And you might have a tradition of doing 10 each and every year. I also like the paper version better. I just like to be able to fill it out and then keep it up. So not that I don't do it online, because I do it online, but the paper version to me just feels like it used to when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite things to do with my parents growing up, is just fill out one of these brackets, and it's kind of a tradition I still keep going to this very day. Big C, where do you stand? Do you fill out multiple brackets, or do you fill out one and one alone for various different bracket challenges?
Well, when Arkansas's in it, I usually do several because I always have them winning it all in at least one. But now this year I've only done one. I'm kind of like you. I don't want to. I don't have the urge to fill out a ton of brackets this year. I just kind of went with my gut on the first one.
So you filled yours out already?
Yeah, I didn't give a lot of like hard thought in mine. I mean, I probably made a pick like in 10 seconds on each game. But I did give it a little bit of a gut instinct type of thing. I did pick some upsets. So
And online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-420-6060. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-420-6060 to speak with a live person now. Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Morning Rush.
0.9% financing on a new 23 or 24 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck, or take $3,750 off with 0.9% financing or 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on Sierra 1500s. 6.2-liter engine excluded. Conquer with confidence in a new GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, I'm Hagan Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
This year, upgrade your home to safe, convenient, and energy-efficient natural gas from Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. Skip the prepayments and delivery issues, and enjoy the peace of mind knowing that your natural gas is always there when you need it. And we can help make converting your home easy and affordable too. For heating, hot water, cooking, and more, it's time to upgrade to safe, reliable, and energy-efficient natural gas. Visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, Energy for Life.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. Here at ESPN Arkansas, we rely on Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on the radio station when we're not here. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your stuff. Guardtronic, license E50.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road-ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road-ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey, Wits.
Billy, K is for horses. Are my ears that long?
Oh, you got me again. I'm going to order a large Boss Hog pizza for fishing tomorrow.
That's a lot of food. You taking a friend?
No, sir. I'm going to use it as bait.
Pizza as bait for fishing?
Yes'm. The catfish love 'em, some Jim's Razorback pizza.
They do?
Yes'm. They chase the bacon faster than green grass through a goose.
Bacon? Never would have thunk it.
Yup, and they come right to the river's edge when I call them too. Woo! Fish suing!
Oh, blessed Billy. All right, son. Have fun fishing.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to ESPNArkansasDigital.com for your free digital marketing audit, or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I think I side with Ty as much as anybody. I'd listened to this program for years, first time I called in.
Now Vahiba Aloy batting, and he hits one high and deep to left field. Back goes Daniels. He's at the wall. Back-to-back home home runs.
Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963.
It's not often that you see one home run, followed by another home run, followed by another home run. But that's exactly what you did see if you're watching or listening to our own Phil Elson right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com this weekend with the Arkansas baseball team. We'll tell you what else happened over the course of 3 days coming up as they sweep the Missouri Tigers. Before we do that, I want to tell you about our friends at Pradco Fishing. I actually had a chance to sit in and watch the Tennessee game with Bruce Stanton this weekend. I know he was thoroughly disappointed, as every other Vol fan was, with how they played, just walloped by Mississippi State. That was one of the crazier outcomes that I think came out of the SEC tournament this weekend. Auburn ended up winning the thing, which they were a top 4 team coming in, but a lot of teams got upset. A lot of teams I did not expect to get upset fell, and we'll tell you again more about some of those games coming up in just a bit. But I do want to tell you about, again, the Umbrella Flash Mob Junior. It's great for cold water bass fishing, and it can help you with that small school of shad and be worked at the top of the water column to the bottom. So whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or just whip up a bunch of white bass stripers, not the other thing, the Umbrella Flash Bob Jr. will catch them. You can find them at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Also, the Smithwick Original Rattling Rogue, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, all made right here in Arkansas. And the Dinger, don't forget about that. All made right here in Arkansas by our friends at Pradco Fishing. So, baseball-wise this weekend, Jamie May texted on the McLarty Daniel hotline saying over the course 3 days, Arkansas won 23-1 and had 37 strikeouts against the Tigers. Mason Molina, Hagen Smith accounted for 20 of those. Both had 10 strikeout performances on Friday and Sunday. Hagen Smith is just feeling it right now. He's got a 1 point. I had the ERA. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's a 1.57 ERA. He has been, as a must term, I'm going to use a must term, phenomenal. Yeah, 1.57 ERA. Listen to this. 50 strikeouts. 50 strikeouts on nearly 25 innings of baseball that he's pitched this season. Unbelievable thus far. And I think he's going to keep it rolling. I don't think there's – yes, you play a ranked team in Auburn this weekend. That's better than Missouri. We know that. They're in the top 20. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how they did this weekend. Haven't looked into that. But I do know the last rankings I checked out, they were, I think, 18. So we'll see if Arkansas can – they're not going to have, a type of performance that they did this weekend. But I think they have a great chance to maybe win that series in Auburn based on the way that they've been playing. B in Clarksville is not on spring break this week. He texted on the McLarty Daniel hotline that he is here listening to us. He's probably driving around like he usually does, but he is not on vacation. Christian, did you have a favorite spring break trip? I know Tommy, I guess they're going to Arizona and Nevada for a little bit. I don't know what they're doing. He's a big outdoors guy, so I would guess they have some activities lined up with the kiddos and the wife. Did you have a favorite spring break trip that you took?
I think one time I went on a cruise, but I think a couple other times I went skiing.
Where'd y'all ski at?
One time was Breckenridge, and the other was Salt Lake City.
Been there, too.
Those are both really fun when we were younger. Love skiing. When I went again when I was a little older, and, man, you can lose your touch on skiing. That is for sure. It's a lot more scarier, I think, when you're an adult.
Yeah. No, I remember. So when I was a kid, we went to two places. We went to Salt Lake City, Deer Valley, like you mentioned, and then Taos, New Mexico. And I was 1,000 times better back then than when we went to Winter Park for my junior year ski trip when I was in high school. And then we went to Breckenridge for another junior ski trip. This time it was in college because they had this thing called UB Ski that was cheap for college kids. It ended up only costing like $600 for the whole trip. But I was horrible both junior years relative to when I was a kid. I want to try snowboarding next time I go. That is what I'm going to partake in the next time I go to the mountain.
Yeah, the snowboarding looks fun, but I've heard it's a lot harder than skiing. But
See,
I don't know how it could be.
I can wakeboard, so I think Some people say it's like wakeboarding, others say it's not, but I guess we'll find out. Couple more texts, and this is the other big topic. And we're going to have Nick Coffey on ESPN Radio Louisville joining us later on at 7:20. If you miss it or you can't make it, go to hitthatline.com, listen to our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast after the show, and you'll find it there. Do you think there's any truth to the Eric Musselman rumors with him taking another or looking for another job? That comes from Sheldon in Farmington. Bruce in Nashville adds in on the McLarty Daniel hotline. He hopes the U of A does not, it's kind of surprising, does not give Muss a big raise. Sheldon, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. And the majority of people that say they do have no earthly idea. I don't know the private conversations that Eric and Danielle have had about potential. He is always going to have prospects. Even after a bad season, he has prospects because he's a good coach. That's undeniable. He is a good college basketball coach. But what can be plausible deniability, at least from my vantage point, is saying that I don't have an idea. I think what I have said on this issue is this was year 5 from us. In the 5 years he's been there, this is the most likely year that he's going to leave. And maybe that's just a cliche. Maybe that's an easy statement. Maybe that's a throwaway statement from some of you's vantage points. But I think this is, again, we're at a point where this would be the most likely that he would leave. I still not am sold he's leaving, but maybe Nick will change my mind. Coming up in 7:20, he does the afternoon in a radio show in Louisville. Another text in from Smack Daddy on the McLarty Daniel hotline saying, hey, guys, with the results of the conference tournament this past week, do we have more than one Cinderella team this year? Well, depends on where you think the Cinderella team is going to go. Auburn wins. North Carolina State maybe takes a bid from one of those Cinderella teams, maybe Indiana State, but definitely something to watch out for the NCAA tournament because we always seem to have at least one. Hey, a great place that you can watch the NCAA tournament is at Buffalo Wild Wings. They have these great weekday lunch specials starting at just $10. Wings, tenders, burgers, and more, all served with fries and a cold Pepsi soft drink. Available Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. Price and participation may vary. You can stop by Buffalo Wild Wings in Conway, Bryan, Sherwood, North Little Rock, Jonesboro, and in Fort Smith. Buffalo Wild Wings, where hunger comes to die. Roar. All right, when we return here on the Morning Rush, Chuck Barrett going to give us his thoughts on NCAA tournament, baseball team, Muss, some departures, Joseph Pinion, Dennis J. Harris, and Keon Mitterfield have all entered the portal. All that is coming up with Mr. Chuck Barrett next. Stay with us on ESPN Arkansas.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV. Highway 420.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds.
Or how coachable he's going to be, it's the wrong guess.
And unfortunately for the Arkansas Razorback basketball program and fans, wasn't the right blend this season. Arkansas eliminated on Thursday in the SEC tournament. No NIT, no NCAA tournament. So now for the first time in 3+ years, we're watching the NCAA tournament without pushing the Razorbacks maybe into the Final Four at some point. Chuck joins us coming up in just a sec here on a Hot Take Monday. It's brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. Brinkley RVs have been added to their incredible lineup, Grand Design, Forest River products, and you can come check out these luxury fifth wheels at Wheels RV. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. You're going to get that lifetime warranty Tommy always texts you about, and you're going to camp with confidence. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Well, Chuck, the cat's away. The mice will play. No Tommy this week on vacation, taking advantage of the spring break. Do you remember any of your spring break trips back in the day, man?
Man, when I was a kid, we didn't have spring break, Todd. We didn't have spring break growing up. I'd never heard of spring break until after I'd gotten out of high school. We had it in college. But spring break in high school, when I was that age, was like you got Good Friday off. And maybe if you hadn't had a snow day, you got Monday off too. But there was no spring break. There certainly wasn't a fall break. And no, we didn't have there was no spring break when I was growing up.
And
Let's put it that way.
I could be wrong about this. I'm going to guess you were working during the college spring break. I feel like I know you a little bit. I'm going to guess that you were doing some sort of radio
You're
related.
giving me the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah.
I think I probably might have been, if I recall, but probably not.
Well, there's not going to be much work done this week, Chuck, with the NCAA tournament. It's my favorite sports weekend of the year, and I count really Thursday and Friday as part of the weekend. I have friends that take off both days each year. They schedule it. They use 2 PTO days. They don't even take a half day. They use 2 PTO days each year to do it. I don't know how many of our listeners will do that. I do know it's going to be unproductive. I've got to be honest. I have not watched the selection show. I recorded it. I had just a bunch of stuff I had to do last night, so I haven't been able to. I printed out a bracket here, Chuck. But did you get a chance to watch it yesterday and maybe put pen
I
to
saw
paper?
parts of it. I've got the bracket. I'm not necessarily filled any of it out.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few things that surprised me. I thought Tennessee should have been a number 1 seed. I don't think North Carolina is a number 1 seed. I know Tennessee lost in the SEC tournament, but North Carolina lost in the ACC tournament. So I mean, I don't understand the difference there. But I thought Tennessee got hosed a little bit. But it's an interesting bracket. What do we have? 8, 9 teams from the SEC. A&M and Mississippi State both got in, so I guess we're at 8. And A&M's a 9 seed. Mississippi State's an 8 seed. Mississippi State's going to have, if they win their first round game, they're going to have a tough chore. So. Yeah, I've not filled it out, but I've taken a look.
And I think there's a lot been made about how the NCAA tournament field has been constructed. I know, again, Rick Pitino's not really happy. I don't know if you got a chance to hear the St. John's coach, but very disappointed in the net rankings. Don't even want to mention them.
With 32 in the net. Well, first of all, I think we all should probably never mention that word again because I think it's fraudulent. You know, my son was 25 in the net. And he was saying he wasn't in with 25 wins. So I think the net's something that shouldn't even be mentioned anymore.
So Indiana State gets left out in the Ohio Valley Conference. They're the highest ranked team ever to not be included in the NCAA tournament. Teams like Michigan State, Virginia, Brands got in. I think it's really frustrating because I realize, again, the NCAA tournament, the money they make, the ratings, the draw they bring in. But if you're just a casual college basketball fan and you see teams like Indiana State, not St. John's, I guess, to a certain degree, I don't know if you're truly happy with the way that the selection committee faded some teams yesterday. You mentioned Tennessee maybe should have been a 1 seed. Auburn got a 4 seed after being second in the SEC and then winning the SEC regular season or postseason title. I don't know if a lot of people were very happy with the selection committee as of yesterday and some of their decisions.
Well, this happens every year. There are always things that you look at and say they didn't get it right. I was surprised that, as I said, Tennessee was not a number 1 seed. I'm going to assume that they fell off the number 1 line based on their loss to Mississippi State. But if you apply how they did in the tournament to Tennessee, how can you not apply it to Auburn? Now look, Auburn might have been a 5 seed before they won the tournament. I don't know. Kentucky was a 3 seed going in, and even though Kentucky lost quick, Kentucky's still a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. There's always going to be inconsistencies in the way they do it. They've never been able to get it right, completely right, in terms of how they really rate teams. The net has a lot of holes in it. It really does. Mm-hmm. But every formula that they've come up with has a lot of holes in it. I've watched St. John's play some down the stretch, and you're not going to be able to convince me they're not one of the 68 best basketball teams in the country. I've watched Indiana State some this year. You're not going to convince me they're not one of the 68 best teams in this country. and again, it's hard to criticize because it is a very difficult task. But every year we look at it and say there's some inconsistency there.
And maybe it was kind of like the BCS in college football, that there's just always going to be complaints regardless. But you made this point before, and I think it's accurate. It doesn't feel like late in the season you can affect your net. And I think that's what – and you mentioned St. John's run down the stretch. It's these teams that go on late, and that's what a lot of times happens in the NCAA tournament. When a team gets hot, they end up winning the whole thing. And I don't feel like that tool used to get teams in is adequate from the sense of certain teams play really good at the end of February and beginning of March, and they aren't necessarily rewarded for going. And not that you, again, diminish what happened during the full season, but I also think there needs to be more weight and emphasis put down on the stretch, which the net doesn't seem to do a lot of times.
I don't disagree with that. I think we put too much emphasis on November and December games, and I've always thought that. Now, college basketball has hurt itself in that it starts too soon, and it opens itself up for November and December disasters. And sometimes you lose a couple of ball games in November and December to the wrong team. That keeps you out when you get to March, no matter what you've done in January, February, and March. Those are the type games that keep you out at the end. I think that's ridiculous. I've always thought that's ridiculous. I think you are punished more for an early loss than you are rewarded for a late win. And I think that's backwards. As fans, when a team loses in November or December, we say, don't read too much into it. They've got a chance to come back. Or if they win a close game against a team that we consider to be inferior, we say, well, don't read too much into it. It's early. In college basketball, you watched it this year, virtually everybody lost to a mid-major somewhere along the way, or so it seemed. And I just think that the numbers that they crunch, it was, it's the net now, and they've had other things before. You don't play ball games on computers, man. At least not for keeps. And some of these analytics are some of the ways they judge which teams are good and bad. It just smacks of math dorkiness.
I also find this text interesting. We just got one from JT in Hot Springs on the McLarty Daniel hotline. That some lower seeded, you mentioned the mid majors, some lower seeded mid majors impacted, and not even
that did happen. That's very true.
So and not even a mid major, but North Carolina State, I don't know if was going
in
NCAA tournament. They win the whole thing. Their broadcaster, first time he's ever called an ACC championship win. First time they've done it since '87, which I thought was really cool for them. And I guess that would have been Valvano and the guys back in the day. But mid-major-wise, Chuck, I don't know if you caught this highlight, but there was the championship in the A-10 between Duquesne and VCU.
Yeah, Duquesne's going.
Yeah, they're going. I was watching some of their games with the Pittsburgh native, which that's where Duquesne is located. And here was Kevin Harlan's call, who always seems to deliver in these moments. Confetti rained down early in the second half. Before the game concluded, Duquesne was up by 13 at this point, but listen to this call in the A-10 championship game.
Bristow gives off to Jackson. My goodness, oh my gosh, they got confetti falling right now. Confetti is falling on the floor. They're going to have to stop playing. We can't see our notes. The players can't work on this court. Confetti is everywhere. Somebody hit the wrong button.
So he goes on for another minute or so. But I've never, Chuck, you help me on this. You've been in a lot of games. I've never seen a situation like that where it's happened prematurely. I remember they always talk about the lore of the 69 Lakers and Celtics where they had the balloons up in the buildings, and Celtics didn't like that. They ended up winning that Game 7. But have you ever seen anything or heard anything like that?
Well, you hear about, and I've seen the water come on in baseball fields like during.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that. You just don't have any games other than a championship game where there's confetti. So to my knowledge, there's not been any confetti fall in a championship game before. That's not something you have, at a normal game. Obviously, hey, this year we had, somebody hit the wrong button on bringing the lights back up down in North Little Rock. So
good point.
We see things like that. But no, I've never seen confetti dumped on the floor early. I've never called a game where there was confetti above either.
Yeah. I think was it Auburn a couple when they were in the number one team in the country, and I think they turned off the lights a little bit early, or relatively quickly, and people were.
That's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might have done that maybe once or twice over the years. Seems like we were somewhere. I have seen the pyrotechnics and the things go off for a win about a half second early. I've seen that. And but yeah, that was an unusual situation in the A-10.
I'll tell you what else was unusual. It was what happened in Bridgestone Arena this weekend. You mentioned A&M and Mississippi State being included. Some big wins for both of those teams. A&M beats Kentucky. You have Mississippi State upsetting Tennessee. We got a text in here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline about regular season Rick showcasing himself again. We were talking with Bruce Stand about this last week. He had no opinion about, or he had no faith in Tennessee being able to win in Nashville, and he was right. I don't even think he expected to lose in the way they did, but that was one of the more puzzling losses from the weekend.
Who cares if you're a Tennessee fan? Why do you care? It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if you're a 1 or a 2. I think that every year we come out of conference tournaments, whether you're an SEC fan or Big 12 or whatever, we come out of conference tournaments with all these thoughts about what we just saw. And then the NCAA tournament starts Thursday, and it's like it never even happened. I mean, when Arkansas was going to the Elite Eight, we didn't care what they did in the conference tournament. I don't care what they do in the conference tournament any year, just to be perfectly blunt about it. It's the big dance that matters. Conference tournaments, in my judgment, they're just exhibitions. They're just exhibitions. That's just my opinion. And they don't mean anything. And then you go play in the big tournament, and that's where it matters. So if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm not worried at all about what happened in Nashville. Not for one single second.
Even losing at home to Kentucky, and
they didn't lose at home to. Well, I mean, they lost in Knoxville to Kentucky. A Kentucky team that's playing very, very well. No, I didn't say that. I said what happened in Nashville. I wouldn't lose a second sleep over. Now, if they play Kentucky in the NCAA tournament, they might get beat, but that'll be in the Final Four.
Yeah, I just, to me, it's one thing to lose, but when they got their butts kicked up and down the floor in was supposedly their arena, I mean, that's a Kentucky Invitational, but I would be the moniker.
Bridgestone's not Tennessee's arena. Bridgestone's Kentucky's arena.
Yeah, that's why I said the Kentucky Invitational. But the moniker of regular season Rick is popped up again, and this is the best team he's ever had. This is the team that needs to go to the Final Four that he can retire with, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that based on. And maybe I'm jumping the gun like you're saying.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not confident about.
But just because they don't win if Tennessee doesn't win the national championship this year, Ty, it's not a failure on Rick Barnes' part. That's ridiculous. They don't have the best team in the country by a landslide. This isn't UNLV of the old days where they're going to be a prohibitive favorite to win the whole thing. The idea that if they don't win the national title, there's regular season Rick, that's dumb. That's dumb. I'm sorry. That's dumb. He's a Hall of Fame coach.
He is, but they've got to at least make a Sweet 16 with this team.
Well, let's let the tournament start before we put dirt on him.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I don't even know. They're, again, a 2 seed right now. I don't even remember who they play first. I thought, again, that Auburn getting matched up in the same region as UConn, that is about as tough.
Tennessee plays St. Peter's in the first round, and the reason they bracketed it the way they did is if they win, they'll play likely Texas. And you'll have the Rick Barnes Bowl. And so that's the reason they bracketed it the way they did.
It's a television draw right there. That is a intrigue. There's a lot of upcoming matchups that I'm excited about. My dad is going to Memphis to watch his Baylor Bears, and he's hoping for an outstanding performance from them if they're able to do so this week. Well, Chuck, we got plenty of more topics to discuss. Baseball team, Dave Van Horn and what they were able to accomplish, and also Eric Musselman stuff as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, people are talking about basketball and obviously the baseball team. I mean, when you go the whole weekend and only allow one run, now Missouri's not very good. It's going to get tougher when they go to Auburn this coming weekend. But they had a great weekend, and I know there's a lot of basketball stuff too. Hey, let me talk about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, before we go on. Those of you who are buying or selling a home, who find yourselves in the real estate market, I want to recommend my friends at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, and I say that because of my experience. And I'll tell you, when you buy or sell a home, generally it's the most money you've ever spent, or it's the most money you've ever gained from a sale. That's certainly the case for most people, I think. And you want somebody, number one, that respects that understands that. You're not just a number, another client to them, someone who develops a relationship with you, someone that listens to you when you tell them what you want, whether you're a buyer or a seller, and then makes it happen for you. Find someone and get you from contract to close. You know, if you've been through real estate transactions, you know that signing a contract and getting to the close are different things. Weicker navigates you through everything, and they get you to that point, and that's ultimately where we all want to be. Now, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington County. They're in Benton County. They're in the River Valley and Fort Smith. You hear us talking about their office up in Branson. You can check out their selection, and it is vast, at WeicherGriffin.com.
I do want to discuss the pitching on this program because you have to include Hagen Smith, Tiger, Molina, and also Will McIntyre. But first, let's talk about a young freshman, Nolan Souza, who had himself quite a weekend. First SEC at bat, a home run, and follows it up with another one in the same game.
The pitch with the runner going is driven by Souza to right field. A long line drive out of here. Nolan Souza with a 2-run home run in the second inning. A low line drive snuck over the fence into the net. It's tough to keep this kid out of the lineup, and he is showing reasons why time and time again. Here's the 1-2. Souza drives one deep to right field. In his first SEC game, he's hit 2 home runs.
I like how Phil said it there. It's tough to keep him out of the lineup, and Dave Van Horn pretty happy with the young freshman.
It was unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about a true freshman, first SEC at bat. He hits a home run, gives us a 2-0 lead there in the second with one of the best pitchers around on the mound.
Now, you kind of alluded to it earlier, Chuck. Missouri, it's not exactly the creme de la creme of the SEC. They go to a ranked Auburn this weekend, but for them to do what they did, both on the mound and at the plate at times, they played like the number one team in the country this weekend.
Well, they took care of business, and they never allowed Missouri to feel like they had a chance to win a game. And that's what you do. That's what good teams, dominant teams are supposed to do. You don't have to beat them 15-0. You don't have to beat them 21-4. 8-0's fine. 9-1's okay. Those are the type games that the other team knows they're not going to win. They just know from the first pitch or the first couple of innings they're not going to win. Now, as far as that Souza kid goes, he's not going to be kept out of the lineup as long as he's hitting. Yeah. There's no tough choice involved there at all. I mean, the guy's knocking it around right now. You keep him in the lineup. He's a big, athletic, physical kid. He's the kind of player you win championships with. I'm not saying he's, first team all conference right out of the gate. I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying you win championships with big physical kids. Pick your sport. I don't care. That's one thing I've learned watching the SEC. If you're not big and physical, forget it. You're not going to win it. And you can win games, but you're not going to win a championship. He's the kind of guy you win a championship with.
He's 3 of 4. Again, 2 home runs in that game, 1 an outstanding performance. Now, speaking of big and physical, Hagen Smith doing what he does on Friday nights, 10 strikeouts before he leaves.
The pitch. He struck him out swinging on a breaking ball, and 10 more strikeouts for Hagen Smith. And 5 more scoreless innings. Pitches around a leadoff single, stranding the second Missouri base runner. Hagen Smith now has completed 22 innings this year, 50 strikeouts. You heard that right, 50 strikeouts.
1.57 ERA, Chuck, this season.
Oh, it's great, and now it's the real time. Now we're getting into the real stuff. We've been through the preliminaries, and I know they played some good teams down there in Texas, but they've really not played a great team since. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
And so they'll play a better team. SEC hitters will make you pay for your mistakes. And the one thing that Smith has been able to do the times I've watched him he's been able to expand the strike zone a little bit, and he's been able to get hitters to chase. Now, sometimes in the SEC, you can expand the strike zone. Sometimes you can get hitters to chase, and the ones that can do that consistently win. I don't expect Smith to go undefeated. I don't expect him to have 50 strikeouts over the next 22 innings or however many he's pitched. But he's got a chance to be – I mean, he's a first-team All-American, and he's got a chance to win you a lot of ball games this season. But it is about to get tougher, and SEC hitters who are good will make you pay. He's not faced a team yet that's really made him pay for a mistake here and there. He's not made very many, but there have been a couple here and there. If he keeps getting ahead of hitters, though, he's gonna win virtually every time he goes out.
Yeah, and has a chance to be Arkansas' third Golden Spikes Award winner. Well, I heard what Chuck just thought, heard what I just thought. What did Dave think about his star pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, last year, it's just development. I mean, he's a pitcher. I mean, he doesn't just throw, he pitches, and he has great stuff. So really excited to see his development over the last 12 months. It's been pretty much what we thought would happen.
We saw the impact as a true freshman he had in Stillwater, Oklahoma, at the Stillwater Regional, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, that's super regional. And now we're seeing his game expand even more in his third year at college, where he is really taken over, not just as, again, Arkansas's Friday night guy, but one of the best pitchers in the SEC, and presumptively could be an All-American if he keeps pitching the way that he does. Again, Auburn this upcoming weekend, they got a midweek game, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but that is your schedule in these next.
Arkansas does, and Auburn does.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, switch that up on the wording on that, but that is the setup this weekend for the Arkansas Razorback baseball team. All right, still a lot to discuss, and we will talk about this Arkansas basketball program, a couple departures that happened over the weekend pretty quickly after the Arkansas loss to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Hey, I want to talk to you about our friends at the Fence Man. Sean and his team can help you commercially or with small residential repairs at 479-782-3936. 479-782-3936. He's helped a lot of our clients out with their businesses and a lot of our listeners. So if you need wood privacy, vinyl, commercial, or a residential chain link, Sean is the guy for you. Again, 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. Hour 2 coming up in just a bit here on a Hot Take Monday.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Get ready for a new year of work with limited time savings on Bobcat equipment at Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas and Rogers. Get as low as 0% for 72 months on a Bobcat compact tractor, or choose a free front-end loader when you buy with cash. Special offers are also available on Bobcat zero-turn mowers with financing as low as 0% for 48 months, or rebates up to $900 on select models. Call Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas or come by to get these great deals. Hurry, these offers end March 31st. Some exclusions apply.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is The Morning Rush.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best dark pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road-ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road-ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, after a cold start to the day, we're only going to see highs in the upper 40s to low 50s with increasing sunshine. Widespread frost tonight. Overnight low will be just below 30. And then we should see sunshine on Tuesday. Temperatures much warmer in the mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks with as dominant of a three-game sweep as you might ever see. 9-1, the final score today. The Hogs outscored Missouri 23-1 in this weekend.
We're number one. I haven't talked to the team about it one time. Have I? I haven't said nothing. We haven't talked about it. We don't talk about it. We just play. I guess to answer your question, we won all three games, so it went good. I guess it's an honor to be picked, somebody to rank you number one because they think you're that good, but somebody's got to be there right now.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's not really a hot take to say that Arkansas played like the number 1 team in the country this week. And you heard Dave Van Horn speak to how he goes about discussing it. It doesn't really seem like it at all. Arkansas just beats the absolute dog out of the Tigers. Got a tougher matchup on the road against Auburn. And we'll talk more baseball coming up. But the number 1 topic, I think, here in Arkansas right now concerning sports is the future of Eric Musselman. Some of you think it's a hot take to say he's leaving. Some of you just think it's going to happen inevitably, but we will discuss that. We'll jump the gun a little bit on our Morning Rush Daily question, and we will ask that coming up in just a bit here on Hot Take Monday, brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They already have a loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products, and now they're adding Brinkley RV to that, including the Brinkley Model Z, which is the latest innovation of the luxury fifth wheels. You're always going to get that lifetime warranty that Tommy L tells you about, and that gives you the ability to camp with confidence. So come in and see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. So 3 players have announced their intentions to enter the portal. Joseph Pinion, Denjay Harris, and Keon Minifield. But what about your head basketball coach? Well, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, could wind up at Louisville.
Louisville from there is going to be really interesting. Does a name like Eric Musselman come up? His buyout is only $1 million after this season.
And I think that's an intriguing aspect to the whole equation of whether Musselman or not stays at Arkansas, if he continues to be here. Now, I've said for quite some time, I never thought he was going to retire here. Never one time did I believe that he was going to retire as the Arkansas Razorbacks head basketball coach. Does that mean necessarily that I see him jumping this year? No. Maybe Nick Coffey tells me otherwise. He's going to join us coming up at 7:20. He does radio in the afternoons in Louisville, Kentucky. He's got his pulse on that program, what they've been up to. Again, 2 bad coaches the last 2 hires, Chris Mack, Kenny Payne, both did not work out. So they're trying to figure things out. Chuck, at this point, I don't think he's going to leave. I think some of this stuff is an agency play to get him a bigger contract, maybe to get some better NIL money at Arkansas. I realize that Louisville's won more recent national championship, but I'm just still not fully of the idea that he's ready to jump ship from Fayetteville, Arkansas to Louisville, Kentucky, which is far and away the second best program in that state, and it's not close.
Well, they're kind of little brother there, that's for sure, when it comes to basketball, although I'm sure they would have a hard time believing that. And furthermore, I will say this, Louisville's certainly won their share of championships as well.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, they're not as many Louisville fans in that state as there are Kentucky fans, but that's a very, very good program with a lot of history. I find that part difficult to believe, to be honest, but there's been a lot of things that have happened that I've found difficult to believe. I would be very surprised if that happens. I'll just put it that way. For a variety of reasons, I would be surprised if it happens. But I'll admit, everywhere that I've gone since the season ended, it's interesting. Nobody's asked about the departing players, because I think everyone is beginning to accept the fact that there will be departing players every year and incoming players every year, regardless of the coach. But everyone, I say everyone, most of the people have asked, hey, do you think Muss is going to leave or not? My stock answer is I don't know, and I'd be surprised, and I would be.
Let's see what our listeners think. If you want to jump in here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, do so at 877-377-6963. Brent in Searcy is up first. Brent, do you think Eric Musselman is leaving for Louisville?
Heavens, let me explain something to you. Ty. I grew up around athletics my whole life. Okay, Chuck, you know this. I'm going to break it down to you as simple as a coach's son can. The mouth is going to put it in simple words. Coaches want to go to a place where they believe they've got a chance to win. Bottom line. At Louisville, Never Nervous Purvis and Dr. Duncanstein Griffith are not coming through that door. If he goes to Minnesota, Michael Thompson, Kevin McHale, and Quincy Lewis from Little Rock are not coming through that door. So if he does that, I would be totally, totally shocked. Judging by Muss's track record, 5 years is usually the time Arkansas is the longest tenure job he's had. Isn't that correct, Chuck, so far?
In terms of college, yes.
Yeah.
In terms of college,
maybe
I would
NBA
be totally
too,
right. I would be totally shocked if he left, but nothing would surprise me now. I have a question for you, Chuck. How can Keon Minifield hit the portal again? I thought you could only hit the portal once.
I think they did away with that.
Yeah, they struck that down. Brent, appreciate the call. Again, some of the legality stuff's a little over my head.
My understanding is they struck down the one-time transfer rule, and if you're in good academic standing, if you've graduated, you can enter the portal whenever you want. If you're an undergraduate, there are certain periods that only certain periods you can enter the portal.
Starts today, actually.
Look, here's the way I view all this stuff. If a kid doesn't want to be here, then it's time for him to go. You're not going to win with kids that don't want to be here. And this was a very, very frustrating season. And I think that obviously some people already had their minds made up as the season was coming to a close. I think sometimes when players say, I want to wait until the end of the season to decide, we as fans don't like that. It's a red flag for us. But it's really the only smart thing to do. I mean, you just can't make these types of decisions. And when you're a coach, when you're a head coach, you got your job, your family, the balance of your career. There's a lot of things to consider. And the idea that, you make these decisions just on the drop of a hat right after the end of the season, I think you need a little time to decompress. And look, I would imagine that Muss and his staff right now, I mean, hey, for that staff, let me just tell you, this isn't spring break.
There's no spring break, yeah.
This is hell week. I mean, this is not spring break. This is hell week. And it's going to be hell month. And that's just how it works when it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and that portal opens the Monday after your season ends.
6 open roster spots currently. We'll see if anyone else elects to enter the transfer portal. We have 3 this weekend. I don't think it's done. Now, March Madness is upon us, folks. It is the best week of sports in the year, really the best 2 days, Thursday and Friday. It's an entire weekend. And if you want to beat the likes of Matt Jones, Derek Ruskin, myself, and other ESPN Arkansas coworkers, you can do so right now. HitThatLine.com. Bracket Challenge is back, presented by On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, where Derek and Ruskin were just at this past Friday. 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley. It's very easy. Go to HitThatLine.com, and you can register. It takes about 5 minutes. The HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge is also brought to you in part by Walk On Sports Bistro, Century Bank of the Ozarks, Cafe Conchisme, Links at Chaffee Crossing, and Foghorns Wings. Again, go to HitThatLine.com. Prevent Sac Orange for being the 3rd back-to-back-to-back champion. We got to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, we'll come back to our basketball question when we return next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts. The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
He struck him out. around swinging. This is historic. You've never seen anything like this before.
This is the Morning Rush.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forest Grin wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forest Grin has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forest Grin is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forest Grin is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forest Grin legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForestGrin.com. That's GoForestGrin.com. Forest Grin Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
More good news from Wave Rural Connect. If you're on the Arkansas Valley Electric Shoal Creek substation, fast, affordable internet is coming soon. That zone opens March 25th, so get ready. Amazing internet, TV, and phone from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas is coming to you. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the community we serve.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Peen G430 Max 10K driver. Peen's straightest and most forgiving driver. TaylorMade QI 10 Max woods and irons with 10K inertia, making it the most forgiving driver ever. And Cleveland Launcher XL2 woods and irons. Call Matt Brooks for a lesson, 646-4430. And start a new year with more confidence on the course. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The clerk will wait for an answer.
So the hot button topic of this morning is Eric Musselman going to come back and be your coach of the Arkansas basketball program? When asked about this offseason, here was his short answer.
I'm probably more motivated right now at this moment than I ever have been. So, yeah, I can't wait to work.
I can't wait to hear what Nick Coffey has to say about this subject. He does radio in Louisville in the afternoons. He's going to join us in about 5 minutes. Jamie May texted and said, I would like to see Muss, Mark, and Battle come back. Again, Caleb Battle a couple weeks before the season ended, acted like that he was going to come back to Arkansas. He's subject to change his mind because, Chuck, I kind of like how you said it earlier, kind of get a glimpse at the end of the season. I know fans aren't like that, don't always like that, but sometimes you just need a couple days to decompress and figure out what you want to do. And he's got one season of eligibility, Caleb Battle, and I hope he ends up coming back to Arkansas for it.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. What I think most fans are wondering is Battle coming back, is Mark coming back, and is Muss still going to be the coach? Those are the three things that they ask themselves at the end of this season. I think that there was, from the outside looking in, I'm going to guess there's a little surprise Menifield's leaving. Having a little bit closer look than some, I can tell you I'm not surprised at all. That did not surprise me. Denaje needs to go where he can play. He's going to have to petition to get one more year. He played, I think, 3 games as a JUCO guy. There's a year in there somewhere where they think that perhaps Denaje can get another year to play. If he's only going to have one more year to play, he needs to go somewhere where he can play. And it's not going to be at Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph Pinion is a really, really good basketball player who needs to go somewhere where he can play. And all those guys, or at least Pinion and Harris, I understand. Menifield's a little bit different breed of cat. I wish him well. I think he's a really talented kid, well-meaning kid, but he quit about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's just the bottom line. I mean, I'm not saying he officially quit the team, but in his head he quit. And he might have been there in body, but that was about it. And so I'm not surprised that he decided to go.
And just a reminder, Keon did not make the trip to Nashville because of academics. It never came out publicly, but he was not eligible the first semester. I'm going to, and maybe this is an accurate guess, maybe it's not. I'm going to guess that might have something to do with that too. Don't fully know that 100%, but that is just, an educated guess. I wonder if Joseph, so we saw Mikael Mitchell and KK Robinson go to Little Rock for Darrell Walker. I wonder if there would be an appetite for Joseph, who's an in-state kid, Morrilton, 50 minutes from Little Rock. I wonder if there would be an appetite for Walker to potentially add, or just somewhere else in-state, like Darian went to Arkansas State. I wonder if Joseph stays in-state. I'm curious where he lands.
It's very, very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I would think the UALR, Arkansas State would. I don't know the situation. I won't claim to know the situation, but I would think that those might be possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget, he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school.
Big C, what do you think about this? Do you think Muss is going to stay or depart after this season?
It would be a shock to me. I haven't really, taken it seriously, I guess, as some fans have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I that's kind of how I feel.
I do find it interesting, and people, Arkansas fans, again, we're nuts. They did find out last night that Danielle Musselman deleted her Twitter, which I just found kind of curious at this time of year. Maybe it had something to do with this. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe we'll find out something this week, whether he's staying or going in regards to his contract situation.
We spend a lot of time, and we have over the years, worrying about whether or not somebody's going to leave us. You know, I mean, please don't leave. Please don't leave. He'll make his decision. As I said, I'll be surprised if he leaves. But, you know, it's a people have their own decisions to make.
That they do. And that's your Morning Rush Daily Question presented by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopascal.com.
And I think it should be pointed out before we go on this, and I know there's going to be more conversation about it today. This has been 100% entirely media-fueled speculation. There's been no comment. There's been nothing. There's been, there have been even very few unnamed sources, but an unnamed source can be your brother-in-law down the block. So, I mean, this is very speculative, and I'm kind of like Big C there. I'm not really taking it as seriously as some others have.
Well, let's see if we need to as we welcome in Nick Coffey, who now joins us, does ESPN Radio in Louisville in the afternoons. Nick, I know you've got a busy week ahead of you, so we appreciate your time. Just get right down to it. Is there any legs to this? Could Eric Musselman wind up being the next Louisville head basketball coach?
Well, I'll say this. If so, that would be a big, big upgrade for Louisville. I've always been very, very high on Eric Musselman, as I'm sure you guys have. I think he's actually reminded a lot of folks outside of Arkansas how good of a basketball job that is, just with the early success that he's had, energized the fan base. His name is obviously going to come up when a big job like Louisville comes open just because of what he's done. I've been high on Musselman since his days at Nevada when Louisville hired Chris Mack. But to answer your question, I don't think anybody knows. I think it's obvious for his name to be mentioned just because, again, what he's done. Obviously, Arkansas did not have a great year this past year, but still I don't think that wipes away, what he's proven to be able to do in this game. But he's a name that nobody says no because, he's good. But as far as is it realistic, I don't know. I think it's odd just to know, just the fact that it's come up because, again, I'm not really sure as to why it even became a thing that he would want to leave or that there was any reason to consider him leaving because, again, this year wasn't that great. But if his buyout is what they say it is, it's pretty minimal compared to others, and he would want to come, I think Louisville should take him. But as far as is that conversation even going on, I'm not totally sure. I know the fans in Louisville would certainly think very highly of him.
Now, Nick, you just brought up his buyout. It's $1 million, it sounds like right now, according to, I guess I'd go back and look at the contract. But how attractable is that to other, not just Louisville, but other college basketball places that might have an interest in Muss that they pay minimal to a certain degree to the opposing school to get him in that situation?
I don't even understand how he ended up having the success he's had, the money he's making, and have such a small buyout. So to answer your question, it's huge. You would think a guy just, take where he is, SEC, a lot of money there, a lot of resources. I think Arkansas, every step of the way since he's arrived, has made it clear they want to keep him. They want to make him happy. Again, he's given them some life they haven't had in quite some time. So, no, it's huge. I mean, there's guys that I think, fans, like myself and those who do cover coaching searches whenever they come up around here, buyouts aren't something you really do a whole lot of looking into unless you have to, unless you really feel like you need to. And some of these coaches out there, like TJ Otzelberg at Iowa State, Jerome Tang at Kansas State, good coaches, but they've not done what Eric Musselman's done. And yet they have buyouts that are, 6 to 7, maybe 8 times more. So I think that's another factor here is that the financials just aren't as much to get somebody away from a good job like you would have expected with Musselman at Arkansas.
So Nick Coffey, again, is our guest, does ESPN Radio in Louisville. What are the Cardinals' financials right now? I mean, Payne, Mack, I would assume buyouts are pretty hefty. And also curious to the NIL maybe that Louisville can offer. What does that look like, or at least what you've heard, or maybe no?
So Louisville has, I think the athletic director, Josh Hurd, said it best when he had his press conference last week, that they have the money to go hire one of the best coaches in the country, but they're also not just going to go spend a bunch of money just to go spend a bunch of money. So I think they have the money. For example, I think the reports are accurate as far as Scott Drew. That's who they want. I do not believe he's going to leave Waco, but I think they understand even to get him to consider it, you're going to have to make him one of the top 3-4 paid coaches in college basketball. I think they're prepared to do that. They also have an NIL collective fund that has really gained momentum in the last year or so. And, basketball's big around here. If there's people that are going to throw some money towards a certain program to have success, it's probably going to be basketball. So I think they feel really good about the NIL. I think they feel really good about the money they could throw at a coach to get him to leave a comfortable spot. And, I think there's a lot of folks that just assume because of all the fire, all the scandal, all the controversy that's happened at Louisville, there have been a lot of guys in and out. But Rick Pitino didn't get a dime. He was fired with cause, didn't get any money. Chris Mack is still getting money, but that will actually end, I believe, in the next 8 months. Kenny Payne will be somebody they've got to pay the full contract to get, to move on from him. But there was one person specifically that stepped in to pay that in full. So it's not going to be something that's on the books for a while. So financially, I know there are programs in better shape than them, but I think they're in good shape and they're willing to make sure basketball is not left behind because of money.
Nick, let me ask you this. And you mentioned being a fan earlier. I graduated the U of A. Who has the better basketball program, Louisville or Arkansas?
I think Louisville historically, as far as a tradition standpoint, I do think that Louisville is just different. Not to say it's better than Arkansas. It's just different. We don't, football is a baby compared to the basketball tradition and support around here. But I'll tell you this, man. I have family in Fayetteville. They've lived there for 20 years. I've been there many times. Fayetteville is a phenomenal college town. People in Fayetteville, people in Arkansas, they support the Razorbacks really like anybody, like nobody else. I mean, it's not to say it's the most passionate fan base, but it's one of them. So I think Musselman, again, he has reminded people that's a really, really good job. In fact, I think Louisville's got the edge just because of the tradition, but some would say that stuff doesn't really matter this day and age. And Muss, I think, has reminded everybody, oh, wow, if you get somebody in there that can really energize the fan base, oh, and by the way, win big when it matters, it's a phenomenal job. So I'd give the slight edge to Louisville, but I'm also willing to say I'm probably a little biased.
And, Nick, on that subject, being second fiddle in the state, I'm friends with Auburn grads. They know they're second fiddle in Alabama. What does that just do for a potential college basketball coach knowing about the behemoth in Lexington and Cal and, for the most part, not being the dominant program in that state?
For since before I was born, it's been little brother. And, little brother, I get it. Like, Louisville does not have – Louisville's not Kentucky. I think Kentucky – and it pains me to say this. I'd be shamed if I said it to my listeners. But I think Kentucky's the best job in the sport. I think Kentucky basketball is just different. Pains me to say, but I just think it's true. So I think there's some self-awareness from Louisville to understand that, yes, we're not what Kentucky is in the same state. But you know what? Little brother's been in the weight room. He's been working out. He's pretty good himself. So I think, that's kind of how we view it. And I believe that there are some folks that I guess think depending upon who you like. For example, when I know about Muss, I think he would embrace that. I think he would play into the rivalry around here in a way that we would be super excited. He'd probably take his shirt off to do it, and we'd be happy about it, and we'd be excited. So, I think Louisville fans are well aware of that Kentucky is just believed to be the superior program, has more tradition, has had more success. But I think we also kind of know what we've been capable to do as well. And it's just been so long since we've been, up there with them competing. And I hate to make it sound as if that's one of the most important components of the hire, but it matters around here, man. It's like religion. So, I have no problem admitting it. Some people don't. Kentucky is a program that is a notch above, but I think Louisville fans, they know that and realize they can still be pretty dang good too.
And we're talking with Nick Coffey, by the way, does ESPN Radio at Louisville. I think there's some similarities, Nick, between Arkansas and Louisville in the sense that the Razorbacks and the Wildcats have gone toe-to-toe at times, and the Razorbacks have beaten them at their best, and Kentucky's been really good, and there have been some awesome battles. Kentucky's won the predominant most of those games, as Louisville has to that point. So I think there are some similarities there. I do wonder, though, you referenced Mack and Payne. Why didn't those hires work? I mean, I thought Kenny Payne was a home run guy. I mean, as a Louisville guy, you're bringing him back home. Why did Mack, who was a good coach at Xavier, why did those hires not work?
I'll start with Kenny Payne, and I just think Kenny was so in over his head. I think everything he did as an assistant coach at Kentucky, it was a very specific role that really had little to nothing to do with what it takes to be a head coach as far as that role in regards to just a leader. And I'm talking from coaching on the floor. I'm talking to building a staff. I mean, it was an all systems failure. And I don't mean to pile on. This isn't, some recency here, emotion because of just how bad it ended. But I mean, the red flags were there from day one. And it's something I think we'll look back on in many years and just think like, did that really happen? Because it's just, the level of how bad they were is something none of us ever thought we would see. Now with Chris Mack, it worked early on. I mean, I think Chris Mack's going to end up landing at Vanderbilt, and I think he'll be a good coach there. I don't know what the ceiling is, but he had Louisville number one in the country in his second season, and a lot of folks claim, well, that's because he had Pitino's players, which isn't true. The leading returning scorer on the team that Chris Mack inherited, was a guy named Ryan McMahon, who was a former walk-on. So he had success, and then, a global pandemic came around. Things kind of fell apart. He had an assistant coach extort him. That led to a big embarrassment for the school, and I think a lot of folks think Mack was fired. Mack was not fired. Mack was not asked to leave. He just walked away midseason just because of, all of the dysfunction at the University of Louisville. The athletic director who had hired him left in the middle of the football season. The president of the school left in the middle of the night around Christmas time to go to Penn State. There was really nobody else that was around to bring him on that was still there. I think he felt like I probably want to get out before, something bad happens. They get rid of me. But I think Chris Mack's a good coach. I think he would have really worked here. I just think timing and it was bad. And you got to keep in mind, he never actually coached a game here in 4 years without a cloud above the program in regards to a big punishment that was coming for the FBI stuff. So I just think that one, chalk it up as bad timing and, bad luck really for him. But, yeah, I think he would have really worked well here.
Nick, and we really appreciate you making some time for us. I need this answer in about 20 seconds. Are they going to wait on Drew and after the postseason for Baylor, or do you think they make a decision by the end of the week as we let you go?
I think by the end of this week, we will know they're going to go in a different direction because it'll be one of two things. Either Scott Drew has been appreciated. He's appreciating it being flirted with, but he's going to stay. Or maybe they're pushing him for an answer, and he's just not willing to do that given the fact that he could have a Final Four team on his hands.
Yep, Baylor in Memphis. My dad is going to be there for that as a Baylor alum, so he would be disappointed if he ended up at Louisville. We'll see what plays out with that job. Nick, I know, again, you're busy. Appreciate the time this morning, man, and we'll see what plays out this week.
Thanks, gentlemen. Take care.
All right, that was good stuff again from Nick Coffey, ESPN Louisville in the afternoon as we welcome back in Chuck to the conversation. Chuck, he didn't necessarily give a definitive answer whether I had seen that report that Scott Drew was the top candidate for them, but here's the deal about Baylor, and I can tell this because my dad's Baylor. They just built that new arena, which is fantastic. The only thing that stinks about it is the television view, which they're getting fixed. He resurrected that program after what happened, I guess, in the 90s or whatever. I just can't see him leaving Waco for Louisville.
Well, let me say first, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I don't care about Baylor's basketball program, and I don't care about Louisville's basketball program. In so far as, unless it affects us, that's not something that I worry about. I'm sorry it didn't work out for those guys there. Sounds to me like the first thing Louisville needs to do is hire a coach that's got a chance to get a job somewhere else when they let him go. And the idea that Chris Mack didn't just walked away on his own. If he'd walked away on his own, they wouldn't be paying him a buyout. He didn't just walk away on his own. The first thing they need to do is hire a coach that's got a chance to get a job and mitigate what they have to pay him. That's the first thing they need to do. Now, whether or not it's Musselman, I have no idea. This is wild speculation. All it is speculation. There's nothing more than that. My sense is, quite frankly, with a lot of coaches that will be connected to this Louisville job, this is also contract season. It's contract season. Look what Nate Oates just got. Alabama's never even gotten to the Elite Eight. They've never even been to the Final Four. Nate Oates is making a bundle down there. You call Rick Barnes regular season Rick. I mean, what about Nate Oates? I mean, what about the money Nate Oates is making now? You think those other coaches don't look and see that contract? You think they don't look at what Chris Beard's making down there at Ole Miss to not make the NCAA tournament? I mean, it's contract season, and all that plays into it too. Now, here's what makes Louisville attractive for any coach. It's basketball first. It's basketball first. I'm going to cite Missouri as an example. All the NIL money, it seems, that Missouri's getting is going to football.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, when you go 0-19 in basketball, it's not inaccurate to say someone had a pitiful season. And I can tell you, I watched them a couple of times. They try hard. They got a good coach. But they didn't have any money to spend, evidently, because the best player on that team was a transfer from Indiana. And I say that with respect to Sean East, who's been there from the beginning. But Bates was their one, portal NIL get. So all their money goes to football. Evidently, they're not any good in anything else. They're good at football. They're not any good at anything else. And so at Louisville or at a basketball-first school, you're going to get all the NIL money. You're going to get the NIL money, the lion's share. And here's the deal. At a basketball-first school, it's like a football-first school. You'll find a booster that'll pay off a bad coach, just as they did with Kenny Payne. And you'll find boosters that will throw money blindly into NIL, which is what they've done in football. Lots of places have done it in football. Not so much in basketball. But at Louisville, they do it in basketball. So it's an attractive job. That does not mean Eric Musselman's going to be their coach. Does not mean that for a second. I think Eric Musselman's going to be the Razorback coach. And, Louisville, I'm sure they're going to swing for the fences. I'm sure they are. Let's not forget this is, Denny Crum coach there. This is a place that does have it's not Kentucky's basketball tradition, but they got nothing to apologize for. And so it is attractive. But there's gamesmanship going on right now with coaches and agents, and media people are willing partners. They are, because they need stuff to talk about. And that's how all this stuff gets fueled. And so when I hear a lot of it, I take it with a grain of salt, because there's money on the table for players, for coaches, for everybody. And whether you're a player thinking about the portal, or whether you're a coach playing it coy about your future, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about how you're going to get paid. And here's the thing about buyouts too. That's been brought up. Buyouts only come into play when you fire somebody. Buyouts can be taken care of when a coach moves. If you want a coach, you'll find somebody to pay that buyout, whether it's $1 million, whether it's $5 million. Happens every day in college football. And again, at Louisville, it's basketball first. So they do football stuff with their basketball program in terms of money. So, it's attractive. But that doesn't mean Muss is going to be their guy. I think Muss is going to be our guy. Hey, talk just for a second about Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Summer's coming. Spring's here some days, and then it's back to early spring. And, your heating system, your cooling system, it's getting a workout right now. Think about electrical and plumbing, too. Think about the peace of mind that comes from your home operating efficiently. Your heating and cooling system. Your plumbing's working. Your electrical system's where it needs to be. Pascal's Plant Protection Program, that's the key to all this. Preventative maintenance, year-round maintenance, people that know your system, people that understand what's going on. When they walk into your home, it's not the first time they've ever seen it. They understand. They got a record. They keep up with what's going on, and that's where your peace of mind comes from. And that's what you get at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. These are professional people. It is professional service. It's Arkansas-owned. It's Arkansas-operated. You can schedule your appointment at gopascal.com.
We got our Hog Update coming up. Plus, we had quite an interesting outcome in the players. For the first time, you got Scotty Scheffler winning back-to-back in one of the craziest lip-outs I think I've ever seen during a PGA Tour event. So we'll get to all that coming up here shortly. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Gaston's White River Resort. Tommy always tells you about Clint Jacob and the trips that he has at Gaston's, that our listeners have at Gaston's. I was with some friends this weekend that had their bachelor trip at Gaston's, and it is always a good time. My parents like to go for the nature. I like to go for the food and fish. If I can catch fish there, trust me, you can catch the fish there with Clint Jacob. All their guides at 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. They've got the fully equipped kitchens. They've got the incredible restaurant. And again, the world-class trout fishing that people from all over the country, not just Arkansas, come and enjoy each and every year. You can check them out online at gastons.com. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time. Every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guns.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas-owned, Arkansas-operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
This weekend, I don't know where the gorilla mask and the gorilla trophy, what the origin of that is, but I saw that a handful of times this weekend.
Yeah, they dominated them, and they did exactly what you're supposed to do when you're the better team. They never gave them a chance to feel like they were going to win. They didn't beat them 15-2 or anything like that, but they outscored them 23-1 in 3 games, and that's about as dominant as it gets right there.
Yeah, just a superb performance. This team, not only was their hitting on point, their pitching was as well. They have a .33 team ERA right now. And these are not my words. These are Dave Van Horn's. Apparently the pitching staff's the best he's ever had.
I've had some really good pitchers here. I've had some really good staffs. I haven't had this much depth probably, if everybody stays healthy, and we got another guy or two coming down the pike that haven't thrown yet. So, that's the difference. It's the depth. The starting pitching, I've had some before, but maybe not as many guys that come out of the pen that can hold you down. But it's been great watching it.
You're still getting Dietz back in April. The freshman they're excited about. You got a couple guys, including Dylan Carter, back. I guess Bybee's the one that's still with mononucleosis, if I remember that correct. So there's still guys that you're excited about. And, again, the pitching, while the hitting, that back-to-back-to-back home runs is awesome. I mean, you only gave up 1 run this entire weekend, Chuck.
Well, and, with that kind of pitching depth, it's kind of like depth among your position players. You can go with a hot hand. Now, you're going to have constant hot hands in all probability, and guys like Smith and hopefully Tigert and Molina fall into that category too, and Will McIntyre. But you're going to need, somewhere down the road, you're going to need some more guys that, you can rely on. Sometimes that guy will go through a 2-week stretch where nobody can hit anything. And then kind of like a hitter, he'll go through a stretch where nothing's right. I mean, every pitch gets hit hard somewhere. So pitchers go through slumps as well, is what I'm saying. And just like position players, the good pitchers are more immune from slumps like the good hitters are. So they've got guys who will, I think, be consistently good. But the depth is what allows you in those final 2 or 3 spots to go with the hot hand. Mm-hmm. And they've got enough candidates there, and they've got enough arms that they ought to have enough they should have hot hands pretty much at all times is what I'm saying. Somebody ought to be pitching well.
Matt Jones does a great job of covering baseball for the Arkansas Democrats and Hog Sports, and had the tidbit. This is the first time that Arkansas has shut out an SEC opponent back-to-back games in a 9-inning game. So, again, this was about as talented as we've seen this pitching staff for quite some time.
And this weekend at Auburn, it's going to be different because they're playing a ranked team. I've been to games at Auburn, and they're going to have a good crowd, and they're going to get on you, and they think they're good, just like we do. Now, they're not ranked number 1 in the country, but they're ranked, and so they're good enough to beat you. We've had number 1 teams come into our place before when we've been ranked. We've beaten them. So the idea that you could go there and not have it happen to you, you ought not to think that way because Auburn's going to feel like they can win that series. I think Auburn's the kind of series you go down there and you say, hey, man, if we come back with 2 wins, we've had a really good weekend.
And you mentioned, again, being number 1, you're going to have that target on your back as long as you have that number 1 next to your name. And when you're going to Auburn, which is going to – and luckily Arkansas gets LSU at home. next weekend, which is nice. You don't have to go to Baton Rouge. You get Florida at home, another really talented team. But you will have, again, the SEC Road Series that even if they don't have a ranking next to their name, they're going to give it your best shot because you're the team to beat right now, not just in the SEC, but in college baseball. So Dave Van Horn, again, his guy's ready to play this weekend against a talented opponent.
One thing that travels better than anything is great pitching. It's kind of like great defense in football or basketball. And defense is required in baseball too. But, man, if your pitching travels, that's what the good teams have.
Softball team was just in Auburn this weekend. Courtney Deifel got her 300th win at Arkansas, which was cool. And they ended up beating the Tigers in the sweeping the 2 games on Saturday. They lost on Sunday, but still got the series regardless. Also want to mention, as we close out our Hog update, Bobby Portis. I don't have a highlight with me, but he has 25 points, Chuck, in the first half. 10 of 13, knocks down all 5 of his threes, an assist, 2 steals, and a plus-minus of 17 as they beat the Phoenix Suns this week. 25 in the first half. I mean, I watched Bobby, so I watched him at Little Rock Hall in the state championship. I watched him at Arkansas as a freshman, and then as a sophomore. I'm going to be honest, I didn't think he was going to be as good as he's been. I mean, I thought he was a really good college player, and I thought he was going to make it in the NBA, but he is the by and far second best player on that team, only Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he has been awesome for that organization, a big part of their championship team a couple years ago.
Bobby's gotten better every year he's played, back to probably 7th grade. I mean, those of you who followed his career, and I know there's some down in Central Arkansas who listen who may be a little more familiar with his junior high and high school career than some in other parts of the state, but I think you could probably look back at Bobby Portis' basketball career and say literally he has gotten better every year. And so he's turned himself into a professional basketball player. And there's a difference between playing in the NBA, making it to the NBA, and being a professional basketball player. There's a difference. Just like, you can play golf and then you can be a golfer. There's differences. And Bobby Portis has turned into a professional basketball player.
Well, I am playing golf with one of your old radio buddies.
There you go.
Dennis Snow later on this afternoon. But in terms of me being a golfer, I have not achieved that status just yet, Chuck. All right, that is your Hog Update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8
Speaking of golf, did anyone watch the end of the Players this weekend? It was unbelievable, that finish. Wyndham Clark, though, tough way to end.
Unbelievable. How did that not drop? But Scotty Scheffler is the 50th Players champion and the first to go back-to-back in a half century. What a finish.
Chuck, Wyndham Clark's one of us, man. Lipped it out in the craziest way possible on 18. Scheffler wins it back-to-back. It was that's one of the craziest golf finishes I've ever seen.
I missed it. I got to be honest. I missed it. But, yeah, I know about missing putts.
I do, too. All right. Well,
in crucial moments.
Yeah, big situations. Again, it's a Hot Take Monday brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. Hour 3 coming up. Come check out their Brinkley Model Z right now in Northwest Arkansas, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Warm up with hot preseason savings on your choice of New Holland equipment right now at WT Equipment. Get 0% financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Choose 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools. Or get up to $40,000 cash back on a new T7. No matter the job, hurry into WT Equipment today and shop their huge selection of in-stock inventory. Now is the best time to get a truckload of savings on the trusted quality and efficient power of New Holland Equipment. Offer ends March 31st. Commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification at CNH Industrial Capital LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
Tommy Craft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fitzman. 479-782-30 3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our number one volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the number one soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
This is the Morning Rush.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is the reigning champion of my own conference, Robert.
You do realize that's not a thing.
Well, I did receive a plaque commemorating that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I was elected the president of Mars. Anyway, Hog fans, it's that time again.
It's baseball season. And Hog fans, the Stadium Shop has everything you need for Razorback baseball.
From t-shirts, sweatshirts, man cave stuff, and even a Razorback original, the Bases Loaded beer hats.
Plus, ladies, as well as a restocked women's section. We have the Bases Loaded beer stein boppers.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old-time space alien antennas, you know.
Yeah, well, not really.
So when you're in Fayetteville, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road, next door to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can shop us on them WW Interweb, FaceGram, you get it, Matthew.
Dad, do you mean the website?
Yeah.
Which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or call us at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486.
As always,
go Hogs!
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because our Kansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, after a cold start to the day, we're only going to see highs in the upper 40s to low 50s with increasing sunshine. Widespread frost tonight. Overnight low will be just below 30. And then we should see sunshine on Tuesday. Temperatures much warmer in the mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks with as dominant of a 3-game sweep as you might ever see. 9-1, the final score today. The Hogs outscored Missouri 23-1 in this weekend.
We're number one. I haven't talked to the team about it one time, have I? I haven't said nothing. We haven't talked about it. We don't talk about it. We just play. I guess to answer your question, we won all 3 games, so it went good. I guess it's an honor to be picked, somebody to rank you number one because they think you're that good, but somebody's got to be there right now.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
You would think that the Arkansas baseball team, being the number 1 team in the country, drubbing Missouri, would be the topic this weekend. The way that Hagen Smith, Tiger, Mack, Molina, and some of the other guys pitched. But reality is that biggest talking point in Arkansas today is what's going to happen with the future of your basketball program. And it's still a discussion here in Hour 3 on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. Heard from Nick Coffey in Hour number 2, ESPN Radio in Louisville. Get his thoughts if you missed that, just on when I asked him directly about the possibility of Muss going to Arkansas. What you think? Again, jump in here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline at 877-377-6963. Wheels RV, again, sponsors our Hot Take Monday in Northwest Arkansas. Chris, Lee J, Shane, and every one of them over there. I want to tell you about the new Brinkley RVs that they've added to their lineup. It is a luxurious fifth wheel. That's the best innovation now in the industry. They always going to get that lifetime warranty with Wheels RV to help you camp with confidence. So come see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year, 5 miles west off Exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. So when I asked Nick Coffey, getting ESPN Radio Louisville, about the possibility of Muss to the Cardinals, here's what he said.
If so, that would be a big, big upgrade for Louisville. I've always been very, very high on Eric Musselman, as I'm sure you guys have. I think he's actually reminded a lot of folks outside of Arkansas how good of a basketball job that is, just with the early success that he's had, energized the fan base. His name is obviously going to come up when a big job like Louisville comes open just because of what he's done. I've been high on Musselman since his days at Nevada when Louisville hired Chris Mack. But to answer your question, I don't think anybody knows. I think it's obvious for his name to be mentioned just because, again, what he's done. Obviously, Arkansas did not have a great year this past year, but still I don't think that wipes away, what he's proven to be able to do in this game. But he's a name that nobody says no because, he's good. But as far as is it realistic, I don't know. I think it's odd just to know just the fact that it's come up because, again, I'm not really sure as to why it even became a thing that he would want to leave.
And he said something, again, right there at the tail end, doesn't know why he would want to leave. That you can have the debate on who's the better job or whatnot. But, Chuck, one of the things you pointed out is Nate Oates is going to sign this contract that's going to make him one of the top 5 paid coaches in college basketball. They're supposed to release the figures later on today in Tuscaloosa at a Board of Trustees meeting. But not only is it, again, portal season, which the portal opens today, it's also contract renegotiating season. And for coaches across the sport, that a lot of times happens. Agents will spell news to different reporters, like Pete Thamel, who said this about the job earlier yesterday.
Louisville from there is going to be really interesting. Does a name like Eric Musselman come up? His buyout is only $1 million after this season.
Sometimes it's accurate information that agents send to reporters, and sometimes it's just to try and get their client paid.
Well, you're right. I can recall years ago when I was hosting Sports Wrap, I got a call from someone who was representing a coach. This was when I think they were getting rid of Heath. And they were getting ready to ultimately hire, I guess, Altman and then
one day.
Yeah, for one day. And then Pell. It was a strange call. And he just basically said, have you talked to the name coach, because you know the name, and he's still out there. And he said, have you thought about this guy being the coach of Arkansas? Has that ever come up on the show? And I said, no and no. And we talked about it, but it was obvious the phone call was designed to get this person's name out there in front of the Razorback fans as a possibility to be their next coach. So this happens routinely. If it happened with a slap like me, you can imagine what it's like for someone like Pete Thamel or some of these national guys. And they do get worked. And I'm not saying that happened in this instance. I have no way of knowing. I think this is wildly speculative, and there's a big part of me that thinks it's silly. But by the same token, I'm not naive, and I know it's what people are talking about. But I think we got to let this play out, let it settle. The portal opens today, boys, as we've discussed. Yeah. Today's going to be an active day. There's going to be more movement. There may be more movement on our team. This is going to be a very, very interesting week. But I don't know that the interesting part of this week is going to be Eric Musselman's going to Louisville. I just can't see that. Maybe others can. I can't.
Yeah, we've already had a couple departures from the team. Joseph Pinion, who played in 18 games this season, averaged about 2 points and
we've had 3.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
What'd I say, 2?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Minifield, and then Denaje Harris is, he didn't play a lot here at Arkansas. Minifield played some. Saw him in the second semester, did not make the trip to the SEC tournament. Curious where those guys end up. But again, the biggest story within the basketball program is not the guys that have left, not the guys that might left. Is your head coach leaving Fayetteville?
Well, I think for most Razorback fans right now, is Battle coming back? Is Mark coming back? Is Muss going to be the coach? I don't think Razorback fans, by and large, believe Muss is leaving. I don't. I may be proven wrong. If I've been wrong plenty of times before. I don't think he's leaving. I think one of the big questions in terms of the current roster are, is Battle coming back and is Mark coming back? You get those two guys back, and I don't know what Devo's going to do. I don't know.
He's gone.
The signs say you might be right, but there's a long time before all this is settled. I don't think Devo's settle, if you want to use that term, is going to be immediate. I think it's going to take a while. I'm not convinced he won't be back. I'm not convinced he will be either. I just think stay tuned on Devo. But I think if you can get Mark and Battle back, and things can turn around in a hurry.
So
things can turn around in a hurry.
And Louisville is not a subpar basketball job. And so I just want to be clear on this, because I don't. Again, when you look at the two programs, there are some similarities. Arkansas has the grasp at it on the state, and I think, again, while Louisville basketball is the biggest deal, they had a football program that went to the ACC championship last year. They do care about football, kind of like Kentucky, just not to the degree of basketball. I think Arkansas is such a unique situation where there's so much passion for football, basketball, and baseball here. You just don't find that in fan bases, not just in the SEC, but in college sports. Again, basketball is still top dog in Louisville, but I think Muss would tell you that while football still butters the bread here in our state, basketball fans here are nuts and as rabid as anywhere else in the country.
They are. I don't think coaches, despite what they say, really leave or stay because of fan bases. I don't think that's the tipping point. If you're a basketball first school, basketball gets the money. If you're a football first school, football gets the money. If you're an SEC school, everybody gets the money. So it's really hard to know what to say on this. It's not that I'm afraid to say anything. It's hard to know what to say because I just don't give it a whole lot of credence right now.
Jason in Southwest Missouri texting in on the McLarty Daniel hotline. If Muss was leaving, why would Pinion leave? That's, again, a thought that, hey, he's going to stay, so they're trying to get some guys out and maybe get some guys in that should play more. That's where Jason, I think, is coming from this morning. Another question that is hard to answer is, again, what does the NIL situation in Fayetteville look like? I think you have a competitive football, basketball, and baseball, but when I say the word competitive, what does that mean? Where does the basketball NIL stack up? And you got some players this year out of the portal that were coveted in other places. It just didn't seem to mesh and work out. Does this cause certain donors to take a step back and not contribute as much as maybe they did last year? Or does Arkansas get more because they needed more to get certain guys that they weren't able to maybe necessarily to get out of the portal this past calendar cycle? I don't know. But that is, again, a question that Eric Musselman has had private conversations with certain donors and with his athletics director and Hunter Yurachek and the behind-the-scenes inner workings that we're not privy to that conversation.
Yeah, I don't know where they are in NIL. I don't suspect it's as much as they want. I don't suspect that, with the exception of maybe 5 to 10 coaches out there across multiple sports, I don't know that you'll find many coaches that won't tell you that, oh, we don't have enough NIL money. We're broke. We don't have enough NIL money. One of the realities in all of this for coaches and schools all across the board is not how much NIL money do you have, how do you spend it? Do you spend it wisely? Do you hit your bets? Because that's really what you're doing. You're just placing bets. And because you're getting guys in from other places, and they've not played in your system before. You've watched what they've done for somebody else. You've spent a short amount of time recruiting them. The conversation got around to money very quickly. So, you got down to business, so to speak. You didn't have to court them. Didn't have to go see them. You didn't have to call and act like you cared how many points they scored the night before in their high school game. I mean, it's down to business, but it's quick. And so you're placing a bet. And it's a sizable bet. And I don't know that any school out there has enough money to buy out their mistakes, so to speak. I spent so-and-so dollars on this guy, and he didn't pan out. But it doesn't matter because I can go spend twice that much money on somebody to replace him. There aren't many people in that position. You place a bet on a guy in the transfer portal, and you pay him a bunch of money in the NIL, and then he's not what you thought he was going to be. You can't do anything about it. It's not like you can cut him and go sign a free agent. You're stuck with him. And so I don't think anybody's got enough money to buy their way out of that.
And let me add to that because I would agree with you. I think Arkansas, just like they do in pre-NIL recruiting, has less chances to have room for error. That is always how it's going to be. And I think when you invest your money, just think about it as like someone with a salary and making wise investments and whatnot. The person that's making millions upon millions of dollars can afford to have a bad investment or two. But let's just say the average Joe that's making $50,000 a year, you can't afford to miss. And again, I don't know if Arkansas is in the thousands compared to the millions. They're in the millions, but the likes of Kansas, Kentucky, some other blue blood programs that have seemingly, and this is not true, but seemingly unlimited, they can miss on guys, and Arkansas can't. And they just misevaluated, and it is a bet of sorts because let's just go taking point. Let's look at the last 4 years, right? So they didn't ever click this year. They played a little better down the stretch, but it was too little, too late, right? Then you look at the previous 3 years prior to that. You got to remember, Arkansas basketball was in year two. It was not going great for a certain point, and neither was in year three. All of a sudden, the team starts winning. They go big in year three with Trey Wade, and the team starts clicking. And even last year, you think about that 8-10 conference record, they clicked at the right time against the defending national champion. But you're not sitting here saying last year was a great season. I love the way it ended. Not that you got blown out by Connecticut, but I love the way that had clipped it. I mean, you look at Arkansas basketball in a nutshell right now, the last 2 years in conference, you're going the wrong way. And I hope that Muss, assuming he's the head basketball coach this year, they pull this thing in the right direction because, again, I think that Kansas win in Des Moines, Iowa, and Wells Fargo Arena made up for what was not a great basketball year last year. And I think a lot of people, that's not a hot take. Here on Hot Take Money, it's a pretty agreeable one. And Muss would even tell you that.
Well, college basketball, for most people, the reality is it's what you do in the tournament. And if you make a run in the tournament, all things are forgiven from the regular season. And I think we also, as fans and as we observe, you realize that with that tournament out there, that the goal is to be playing your best ball when you get there. Obviously, you got to play well enough to get there. But ultimately, the goal is to hit that hot stretch in March, and you're building towards that. We as fans say it. You want to make sure that you got everybody healthy when you when you get into March, and that's the focal month right there. And so you do have an opportunity to sometimes make people forget what happened in the regular season.
Well, speaking
of but too, the regular seasons are so long, Todd.
Yes,
they're
they are.
so long, and you have injuries, and there's ebbs and there's an ebb and a flow to every conference race, and sometimes, as we see again this year, 500's enough to get you in.
Mm-hmm. We've seen it with multiple teams, not just in the SEC, but other conferences too. Well, speaking of March, we do have our new hitthatline.com bracket challenge. It's online right now. Just go to hitthatline.com and click on March Madness. It's brought to you by our friends at On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley. Registration is easy. Just find the contest on hitthatline.com again, and then click on the March Madness tab. It's also brought to you by our friends at Walk On Sports Bistro, Century Bank of the Ozarks, Cafe Conchisme, Links at Chaffee Crossing, and Foghorns Wings. Sign up today at hitthatline.com. Let's go and get this glorious music going as we get ready for this week. Chuck, I am a one bracket guy. I only fill out one bracket. It's like my fantasy football team. I have one team, one league. I don't play a bunch of them. Some people do a variety of them. One bracket guy. I will fill it out on paper. I will insert it to hitthatline.com. I'll do it on our high school buddies bracket challenge, but I'm a one bracket guy. Do you fill out multiple brackets? It's kind of weird this year. Arkansas's not in it. Or do you just do one?
I usually just do one. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I didn't fill one out last year.
Wow.
And, it was underway. I had a busy week. We were getting ready to travel, and
yeah,
I just didn't even fill one out till it had already started on Thursday. So I didn't have any reason to brag or get upset either one.
I saw that Kansas matchup in round 32, and I thought Arkansas matched up well with them. But I did have them losing to UConn, if I remember that right. It is a little bit of a bummer to not see the Razorbacks on there this year. I mean, we've had the benefit of runs last year, but I did it just out of like, where's Arkansas? And I was like, they're not in the tournament this year. But there are a lot of intriguing matchups, and the SEC, man, SEC tournament was weird this weekend. Mississippi State and A&M got big wins, so you got 8 teams in when you thought you were going to get 6. So you're going to have a lot of representation from this conference this week.
Just looking at the bracket, if there's one team out there that I think out of our conference that has a chance to do something surprising, and you're going to think this is weird, but I'm going to say Texas A&M. I think they're playing well right now. You look at their matchup, they're a 9 seed. They've got Nebraska as an 8 seed in the first round. If they get by that game, they're going to play Houston. Now, Houston's a great team, but Houston can't score. I mean, Iowa State held them to, what was it? I don't even know if they got to 40.
Yeah.
And, Iowa State just stomped them. And so I think A&M could give them a tussle. I really do. I'm not saying I think they're going to beat them and get to the Sweet 16, but if it happened, it wouldn't shock me. Those are better wins than maybe we think they are. For whatever reason, A&M didn't play well against Arkansas this year, and Arkansas seemed to, whatever the matchups were, they seemed to be able to take advantage of them. I mean, lots of good teams. Tennessee lost at College Station. Florida lost at College Station. Arkansas went in there and won. So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, Wade Taylor was fantastic against the Wildcats in Nashville, and he has the ability to get 30 or 40 any given night. And so I don't think that's a bad pick. And for whatever reason, now, Chuck, I do this every single year. You mentioned Iowa State. I fall in love with the Cyclones.
Yeah,
they are think about this. They're 6-0 in Big 12 championship games. I know it's Lawrence East and Ames South. That you would be shocked at how many fans from Iowa State come down for Kansas City. It's an awesome event. It's the best basketball conference tournament in the country. And yes, I'm including the SEC on that. It's the one, but I fall in love with Iowa State every year, and I really like them this year. But they're going to wind up losing in the round of 32, and I'm going to say the exact same thing. They're frauds, and I hate that. But I'm going to probably put them in my Elite Eight or Final Four this year.
It's going to be Washington State or Drake in the second round with him. The Drake matchup would obviously be a huge matchup. Yeah. Just among those schools. If it goes according to the chalk, they'll play Illinois in the Sweet 16. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, Arkansas can beat last year.
But Iowa State's playing great right now. I mean, I can completely understand somebody jumping on their bandwagon.
Chuck, we had one blue blood last year make it to the Final Four in UConn. 3 odd teams, San Diego State, FAU, and Miami. Just, again, we're early into this. I'm going to fill up my bracket tomorrow. You going upsets or chalk this year? Think it's going to be wet and wild like
I
last
always
year?
go chalk when I fill it out. Not every game chalk, but ultimately, most of your teams that pull off like your first-round upsets, you're not going to have anybody in the Sweet 16 by the time you get there. And, unless one of them just – and most of them don't. Most of them lose the next game. Or, a few here and there, St. Peter's or somebody. Somebody makes a run. But generally, I'm generally chalk by the Sweet 16 because I think that's your best way to get points. And but I pick an upset here and there, pick a team maybe to get to the Sweet 16 perhaps, but not any further.
And again, if you want to do this with us, hit thatline.com, click on the March Madness tab, and you can also build your own groove if you just want to compete. Again, hit thatline.com. Hey, this morning we are brought to you by West Arc Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. They've been doing it since 1993, so whether you have a clogged drain, your water heater's on the fritz, then you should trust the team at West Arc. Call them at 646-5151. That is 646-5151. The money that you give to them goes right back in the community because they are a community supporter. So again, 646-5151 for West Arc Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. When we return, more baseball and basketball next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
Warm up with hot preseason savings on your choice of New Holland equipment right now at WT Equipment. Get 0% financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Choose 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools. Or get up to $40,000 cash back on a new T7. No matter the job, hurry into WT Equipment today and shop their huge selection of in-stock inventory. Now is the best time to get a truckload of savings on the trusted quality and efficient power of New Holland Equipment. Offer ends March 31st. For commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification at CNH Industrial Capital LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
Tommy Craft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
This is the Morning Rush.
The Razorbacks have won it.
Are you looking for a change of scenery? Lavorne Lumber is looking to hire a Class A CDL flatbed driver for a regional position. Lavorne Lumber is highly competitive in pay. Lavorne Lumber is a family-owned lumber and trucking company. Home most nights and every single weekend. Guaranteed. Lavorne Lumber has top-of-the-line equipment. If you're interested in the job, stop by Lavorne Lumber at 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Free Diamond Madness this March at the Diamond Center. During the month of March, Diamond Center is giving away a free lab-grown diamond with the purchase of any natural earth-grown diamond, 1 carat or larger, or with the purchase of any qualifying in-stock setting. All you have to do is pick out the perfect engagement ring and we'll take care of the rest. All backed by our free lifetime warranty. This is a can't-miss opportunity. Don't miss out on free Diamond Madness the entire month of March only at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
The American Patriot Promotions Gun Show is coming to the Sebastian County Fairgrounds in Greenwood, Saturday, May the 4th and Sunday, May the 10th. Tickets are just $10 per person, $8 for veterans, military, and active police force. Plus, children 16 and under get in free. On Saturday, the event goes from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Sunday from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. For more information, go to AmericanPatriotPromotions.com. May the 4th be with you.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Sometimes luck's involved, guys, and the personality that a kid has that you've tried to judge in 2 weeks, sometimes your pick's correct, and other times the guess you make on how the guy's going to blend in with what you have or how coachable he's going to be, it's the wrong guess.
Well, the NCAA tournament starts up this week, and there's some matchups that we're going to talk about in just a sec. You also have the transfer portal opening up today. Now, grad transfers can enter in at any point, but for the undergrads, this is the first official day that they can actually enter. You can announce it prior to, like we saw some names this weekend in Keon Midfield, Joseph Pinion, and Denaje Harris, but for other college basketball players that are just undergrad, you can actually enter it today. We'll talk more about both those things coming up in just a sec. But as the NCAA tournament gets going, there are two great places that you can go eat at. And I'm talking about Sassy's Red House, where Chuck did Eric Musselman Live, and Sassy's Barbecue and Grill, where he did it for both of them. So, again, while you're not watching the Razorbacks, you can watch your upset pick, your Cinderella team. You can watch the chalk. Maybe you got Kansas or Kentucky or one of the Blue Bloods that you have winning the national championship this year. And you can do it while eating some awesome smoked wings, some baby back ribs, some nachos, and drink specials too. So get both locations. It's patio weather. You can take advantage of the incredible patio, best patio in Northwest Arkansas at Sassy's Red House. You can order online at sassysbarbecue.com. And again, their happy hours from 3 to 6 right in the heart of March Madness. So when it comes to barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more, nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy. So, Chucky, look at the bracket. I've got it right here in front of me. I'm always going to be drawn to the SEC teams, but there are some other former SEC coaches like the likes of Andy Kennedy for the UAB Blazers, Will Wade for McNeese State. you better not be sleeping on some of these 12-5 matchups, or you're going to lose your bracket pretty early.
Well, those are the ones that always seem to be, the early round games that you look at. UAB's playing pretty well right now. San Diego State is the team they play, the team that went to the Final Four last year. So obviously, if they beat them, that'd be a big story. Will Wade and McNeese State, they play 5th seeded Gonzaga in the opening round. If I was going to pick a 12-5 upset, that'd be it. That would be the one that I'd probably go in on. He's a character now, and I mean, he's one you love to hate. And of course, everything he used to do back in the day is all, it's all fine and dandy now. So, but now I do think, in all seriousness, I do think Wade's a little bit of an underrated coach. I mean, look, McNeese State, I don't know when the last time they made the NCAA tournament is. I don't know what they were the year before. Nobody ever talked about it.
Atrocious last year.
Okay, well, they're in the NCAA tournament right now, so evidently, he knows what he's doing a little bit. I would not be surprised to see them beat Gonzaga.
Another 12-5 matchup that I find interesting is James Madison against Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a really bad regular season end, then they kind of did a lot better in the Big Ten tournament, but James Madison, man, they whooped up on Little Rock. And Little Rock, Darrell Walker, they had a great year. And I mean, they pretty smashed him in that championship game. So James Madison can play a little bit. That might be another 12-5 matchup to keep an eye on if you're picking an upset.
If Wisconsin can score, Wisconsin's better than James Madison. But sometimes you get into these games and it's hard to score. And Wisconsin's not a high-scoring team to begin with. So I would still probably pick Wisconsin in that game, though.
It is a bummer that Indiana State, the Fighting Larry Birds, are not in the NCAA tournament. One of the teams left out.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Robbie Avila, have you watched that kid play this year? He's a dog,
Is that the
man.
one they call Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah.
I would have thought they would have gotten in just so they could, he's a if you could win a game or two, he's a good guy that, they could talk about, on their television coverage. So I was a little disappointed they didn't get in. I based on what happened this year, the net kept them out, and they were kept out by computers is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
When you get right down to it.
Yeah, and they had the highest net ever to be left out of the NCAA tournament. It was in the top 30, and they still elected to go with Virginia, who was like 50-something, 54th, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I know Virginia's competition level is probably better, but it's not like the ACC's, set the world on fire.
And that basketball,
the way they once did.
That basketball's unwatchable. Their brand of basketball is unwatchable to me.
I don't disagree with that.
All right, Brian in Ozark has phoned in on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I just got through doing my hit the line bracket, and I went with some underdogs. I'll tell you, I got Houston and San Diego State in the national title game, with Houston winning it all. I also got Auburn losing in the first round.
Wow.
I got Texas beat Tennessee.
I don't think the last one's right. Houston, Chuck, you said earlier they can't score. And I know they dominated Kansas at home earlier this year, but Iowa State ran them off the floor. And a lot of times I like what teams do in neutral site games just to look at that. They are about as good a defensive team in the country. But they have stretches where they can't throw in the ocean.
They do. And I think they're going to play A&M in the second round. I think A&M's going to beat Nebraska. If they get by that game, though, when you look at their bracket, if it goes according to the chalk, they're going to play Duke. I don't think it's a vintage Duke team. I think Houston is going to be way too strong for them. I'm not going to say Duke's soft, but it's not. They're not as grizzled as what Houston is by any stretch.
Yeah,
I think Houston will get by. I think A&M will give Houston more than Duke will if you get right down to it.
Well, it is a Hot Take Monday, and it's getting brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They've added the Brinkley RVs to their loaded lineup of Grand RVs, Grand Design, and Forest River products. You need to come check out the new Model Z. They are voted the best RV dealer year after year. If you want to come by and see them, easy to get to. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek explore, and discover with a lifetime warranty on every single Wheels RV. When we come back, SEC update. We talked about some SEC teams there in the past two segments. What happened in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena? Some matchups that the teams had ahead this week.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV. Highway 4.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Reed from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and
the weather warm up a little bit this week, but it'll still be cold from time to time here in March. And they have the Beat the Weather Blues hot tub sale where you can save up to $5,000 on hot tubs right now. It's the best-selling brand in the state. And you can check out the new Serenity Series 6-person hot tub for only $75.99. Warm up, say goodbye to all those blues you experienced during the cold, and visit us in Springdale and in Fort Smith or online at burnpools.com. We don't just sell hot tubs. We build long-term relationships. That is, again, burnpools.com. I want to come back to the baseball team for a sec because they looked great this weekend. I felt bad for Missouri at times. Dave Van Horn really likes his pitching depth, and guys that haven't necessarily got as much pub as Hagen Smith or Brady Tigert and Will McIntyre, they both finish off Missouri pretty solid game 2.
The 3-2 pitch. He struck him out looking with a curveball. Brady Tigert strikes out 2 batters in another scoreless inning. 2-2, the pitch from McIntyre. For strike 3, that's it.
And Dave kind of likes playing them in the combo. Brady then going straight to McIntyre. Here's what he said about both those guys.
McIntyre was outstanding finishing the game. And, Brady's pitch count got up and didn't have his best stuff, but he battled.
They're different in the way they pitch. Dave kind of spoke on more the analytics and the spin rate and stuff like that for both of those. But it's kind of a tough for a batter who's been facing Brady for 4 or 5 innings. And then you bring in Will McIntyre, which is what they did on Saturday. And again, that combination seems to work for Arkansas baseball a lot of the times, Big C.
Yeah, I really like the pitching this year. I know things can happen during the season and whatnot, and maybe a few guys lose their mojo. But I just think what we've seen so far, giving up only 1 run against an SEC opponent all weekend, you can't expect to do that every weekend. Your starting 3 guys are pretty solid, though, and that's what it takes to, get to the championship game. And you've got to have a good 1, 2, 3. That doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but you've got to give yourself a chance to be in a close ball game. You can't have guys go in there and give up crooked numbers. And I feel like years past, we couldn't really rely on our pitching. This year, seems like that's going to be a strength most of the year, and the hitting is not bad. I'm glad to see Stovall back in the lineup because he's actually doing some damage, and that just makes this lineup even more deadly.
Yep, and mention Hagen Smith, mention Brady Tiger, Will McIntyre. Don't forget about Mason Molina.
1-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Number 10 for Mason Molina.
He can be wild at times, as DVH categorized it, but there's not many people out there in the country that can wheel out those 3 guys at starting pitching, and Dave likes that.
His stuff he's hard to hit. He throws that carry fastball, and he's got a good changeup, and he's just kind of effectively wild a little bit and kind of keeps him off balance. It was good to see him get at least 5 innings in. Obviously, if he's a little more efficient with pitches, probably could have gone 7. They foul a lot of pitches off on him because that fastball is hard to get on top of.
An outstanding performance for the baseball. Let's see what the guys can do in Auburn, Alabama this weekend. Going to a road as the number 1 team in the country. How will this, not just pitching staff, but the hitters respond for the first time in a hostile environment this year? We'll find out. Excited to see what they can do moving forward. Also excited to see what transpires for the Arkansas basketball job. If anything, does Musk get a contract extension? Does he depart? We had Nick Coffey on earlier this morning, ESPN Radio, Louisville. You can go back and listen to that conversation in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcasts and to see what ends up becoming of this basketball job. We've already seen 3 guys depart: Joseph Pinion, Keon Minifield, Denaje Harris. What happens to the other guys? Chuck and Jamie May, I think, was the one that texted us on the McLarty Daniel hotline earlier. They want to know what happens with Caleb Battle, Tremont Mark, and also is Musk going to be retained as the Arkansas basketball coach? And when I say retained, I mean he's not going to get fired, but does he want to continue coaching in Fayetteville next year? It's a question only him and his family can answer. See if they do it publicly this week. Any reports about contract negotiations and other things. You got transfer portal that opened up today. Should be an entertaining week here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and our brand new Hit That Line Now app. As we close out this morning, I want to tell you about our friends at WT Equipment. Again, they always have what you need at WT Equipment, formerly Williams Tractor, now, again, at WTEquip.com. So whatever you need to work around the yard, with anything at all, they can help you out with the side pull mowers, the full lineup of roll belt balers, and always getting that extended coverage that you get with WT Equipment. So work smarter and save big on the incredible deals going on right now at WT Equipment. Again, online at WTEquip.com here in Northwest Arkansas. Well, that's going to wrap it up here on a Hot Take Monday. We really appreciate all of y'all joining us this morning via hitthatline.com, ESPN Arkansas, our brand new app, and watching us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch too. So for Christian Johnson, for Chuck Barrett, for Nick Coffey, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your Monday. March Madness just around the corner, starting on Thursday.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both.